Hey there, and welcome back to the video series about hash maps and HashSet data structures in Java. We just finished up with the HashSet, and I have reverted to map to a hash map now. So basically what we have now is we have a hash map that is using a key of string, and we have a custom class, the one we made just before, that is a country, and it only has the country name. And then, because we're using a hash map, now we have key and we also have the value. So we got Italy and France and Finland. We have the capitals here, Rome and Paris and Helsinki. So now we can get the values in constant time by actually providing the key there. Okay, and that seems to work fine. The thing to note here is that when we use a string as the key, because the hash map will only allow unique keys, we're not going to run into a problem where the hash code is not going to work here, because if we put in Rome again, then we're overriding Finland, or we're actually overriding Italy, because we're putting in C3, that is Finland. So if we write it now, or we test the program, we can see that now we have Finland and France. So we overrode Italy because we put the same key again, and the hash map will not allow that. So as long as we stay with unique strings, it's going to be okay. Because if we take a look, if we make a string here, test, whoop, and then we do hash code. If we click on the hash code, we can actually see the hash code implementation of the string class. And the hash code is what determines basically where this item, this object, where this is going to be stored in the hash map. So the string hash code is going to generate an integer value, that is the hash code, based on the actual string. And we can see that what it actually does, that it will actually go through the entire string, each character, and calculate an integer value, and actually combine this into the bigger hash code that will be returned in the end. So the string is actually a really good key to use, because it has a very qualified hash code implementation. Also because strings are default immutable, meaning that when you create a new string, you're not really modifying the actual string, you're getting a new string. It is returning a new string to you that is modified. So it's not really modifying the original string. And that's important. If we change the key, we're not changing the underlying string, we're just getting a new one. So if you're using a business entity, let's say we were using a country as the key, then it is really important that, or it is advisable that we will make the business entity immutable, so that we can ensure that we're not going to modify the key after we have put it into the hash table or the hash map. But let's see why it is important also to implement, because we have the equals here, but we have not implemented the hash code in this business entity here. So to demonstrate how this works, let's assume that sometimes it is actually useful to have, if I can type correctly here, it is useful that sometimes to use a business entity as the key, and then something else, maybe string, as the value. Normally you would only use a unique string key, and then store a class over here or an object. But sometimes it is also necessary to store a class as the key. So let's see what happens if we revert this and see that C2, C3 here. So now we have the case that we actually input the country objects as the key. Okay, and it is the key that will be hashed, so that it will use these object references to actually compute the hash and determine where should we store the value, that is the capitals now. So now it is important that we implement the hash code, because if we don't do this, it will actually have problems determining how it should get the values back. So if we put this here, and let's say that we want to get Finland, for instance. Okay, so now I want to get the value, or I want to get this capital here that is in Finland here. And to do this, I actually need to provide to see here. I need a parenthesis. Okay, so now I'm asking the hash map to actually get me the country. I'm providing the key here, and the key is a country as we put into our hash map. So I want to have the value that is now the string here. Let's see how that works. And maybe I should just get rid of this one here. So now we can actually see that it returns null. So even though I present here new country, Finland, same as here, the hash map can't find Helsinki. So why is that? Because they should be the same. And that's because we have not overridden hashcode in our custom class. We only overrode equals, and that is working fine. But now we have a problem because I can actually not get my value now, even though I know it's in the hash map. So if we go to our custom class and we implement, let's say, hashcode, we include the name now. So now it's gonna make a hashcode that is overridden from objects one. And if we test it out again, let's see what happens now. So now we get Helsinki. How does that work? Okay, so I think in the next video we're gonna go through this hashcode and see why it works now. Okay, so hope you make this work. Have fun with this. Bye bye.